Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Kelly, and for today's video we're going to be doing my June reading wrap-up. Before we get started and talking about the books that I read in June, I just wanted to apologize about the lack of videos that I've been making. I feel like the only videos that I keep doing are my TBRs, my wrap-ups, and then I've also been adding on doing like bookish things at the end of the month, which is honestly one of my favorite videos to film and watch right now. I just love them so much, but I haven't been doing reading vlogs and like tags and stuff like that. Work has just been crazy. That's really all I can say. And also I usually read at night or like in the morning when I first wake up, and I feel like if I pull out my camera at night, the lighting sucks because the only lights that I have at night in my room are my LED lights, and it's just not the best lighting at all at night. I need to get like a lamp or something, but I am going to be doing some reading vlogs this month and some other kind of fun videos as well, so I apologize for the repetitiveness on my channel. And I think that's all I have to say before we get into this video. I read 10 books in the month of June. Oh, let's talk about my TBR. So out of the books that we picked, I read every single one of them except for one. I feel like I keep doing this to where only I finish all of them except for one or two books, and then those books get carried into like my next month's TBR, and I usually do read them like in the next month, which technically means I'm completing them, just not in the time, like the monthly time frame that we have, if that makes sense. But we read all except for one. Still haven't completed one yet. Will I in July? I guess we'll find out. I say this every month, but who knows? I could complete a TBR for once. Hopefully this year I can. That would be a great accomplishment. Let's get into the 10 books that I read in June. I'm going to be having my phone out just so I can look back on my ratings, because for some of them I forget what I rated them. But the first book I listened to on Audible, it's Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I don't give memoirs ratings just because I feel like it's very inconsiderate to rate someone's story. So, no rating on this book, but yeah, I listened to it on Audible, and I love listening to memoirs on audio because most of the time it's their voice that's narrating their story, and it just makes the experience 10 times better. I really loved hearing her story and listening to this. There were some things that happened in this book that were so crazy, and I was like, oh my goodness. But all in all, I had a great time reading it. I'm trying to continue reading memoirs because I really do love listening to them. I feel like they're so much fun, and just getting to hear people's stories. It's just so cool. So yeah, no rating on that one. Then I read Nora Goes Off Script by Annabelle Monaghan. I've never read anything by this author before, so I was so excited to read a new author. Let me just say, I love her writing so much. Her books are so short, and I feel like they're the perfect amount. Like, they're the perfect length. Nothing in her books drags on too much, which I really, really love. And her writing definitely gives me Emily Henry vibes, but also like Abby Jimenez vibes. Like, there's just a subtle hint of romance, but you also like get more of the plot and more of the story, which I really, really enjoy. And I love her characters. So you are following Nora, obviously, and she ends up writing the script that gets turned into a movie, and it's about her life and like what happens like with her ex-husband and stuff. And the guy who plays her ex-husband actually comes and stays with her, and she's a single mom, which I loved getting to see that aspect. Like, we love a baddie mother who takes care of her kids on her own. I don't know, just something about that I love seeing in books. But yeah, I really enjoyed the story. I loved the romance. I loved the plot and the characters so much. So I gave this book 4.25 stars. That's a lie. I gave this book 4.5 stars. It just didn't give me that 5-star feeling, but I really, really enjoyed this book, and I keep thinking about this book, so maybe it could be pushed to a 5 stars. Who knows? But for now, 4.5. I'm going to put these books over here. You can't really see them, but whatever. Then I continued my Heartstopper journey. This is the second book. I feel like I've been reading one of these a month. They're just the perfect palate cleansers. And I love Nick and Charlie, you guys. This book just had me giggling and smiling the whole entire time. I'm so excited to continue. And honestly, when I first started this, I'm not really a person that's into graphic novels. Even if you're not into graphic novels, I definitely recommend picking these up because they're so fast-paced, they're so easy, and they're just the cutest books. I really want to start watching the TV show soon. and I'm so excited to continue on with these. I don't know how to rate graphic novels, so I'm just gonna settle on like a 4-star. I really love them, and yeah, these books are just everything to me. Which is weird, because like I said, I don't even know if in high school I was reading graphic novels. I can't really remember. I don't think so. I wasn't much of a reader in high school, to be honest, you guys. Like, if we had to read for like school, I hated it. But also you were forced to do that. When you're reading on your own, you can read whatever you want, whenever you want. Like, you don't have like a deadline that you have to be reading these books by. So, yeah. Next, we finished off the Good Girls Guide to Murder trilogy with As Good as Dead. Let me tell you guys, I was so disappointed in this book. It just was not what I expected it to be. But let me just say, the love that I have for these characters, because we've been with them for 3 books now, I just love them so, so much. I just feel like this book dragged on. Like, this book is like 450 pages. It did not have to be this long at all. And I feel like when we were like, what, like 100-ish pages into the book, we were already getting into like some crazy stuff, and then I feel like after that crazy stuff happens, the rest of the book just dragged on, and I feel like after that not much happened. But also when we were getting towards the end, there was something that was going on, and I can't say too much because this is a 3rd book in a series, but there was something that was happening, and I said, if what I think is going to happen happens, I'm giving this book a 1-star. Thankfully, it did not happen, because I would have been so pissed. But I gave it 3 stars because it just wasn't my favorite. I definitely loved the first 2 books more. But yeah, like I said, these characters are so special to me because I feel like I took a break between the first 2 and this one, but it made me love the characters even more, like seeing them again, if that makes sense. It just wasn't my favorite in the series. So, 3 stars. Next, I am continuing my Rena Kent journey. I kind of skipped ahead because I've just been hearing the best things about this trilogy. Like, people have said this is her best work. So I said, you know what? We're going to skip ahead. So I read Blood of My Monster, which is the first book in the Monster trilogy. I feel like I said that already, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. But I am going to go back and continue her reading order. I just wanted to read this series so badly. So you are following Sasha, and she ends up joining the military, but she dresses up as a guy because she wants to find out what happened to her family, like who was responsible for killing her family. And yeah, she has to dress up as a boy, and she ends up meeting Krill, which is like her captain, and he ends up taking her with him to his hometown to basically be like his bodyguard. And the story goes from there. It is so crazy, and I cannot wait to read the second one. I'm going to continue this as soon as I finish Beartown. But yeah, I love Sasha. I love Krill. I feel like he is going to become one of my favorite MMCs ever. So I'm really excited to continue this. I gave this book 4 stars because I feel like I could give the other books 5 stars. So 4 stars. Also, her writing is just so captivating. Like, her writing, is there drugs in her writing? I don't know, but it's so addicting, and I feel like I get sucked into the story from like the first page, which is insane. I love Rena Kent so much. And these are dark romances, so please, please, please check your trigger warnings before getting into a Rena Kent book, because they are dark romances. So, love me some dark romance, you guys. I feel like dark romance is so hated on. Can we not hate on people for reading what they want? As long as what they're reading isn't harming anybody, let people read what they want, guys. It's not that serious. I promise you'll be okay. Next, I read Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. I ended up giving this book a 3.5 stars because I don't know, I don't want to say too much, but there are some things that go on in this book that I just did not like. I did tab a little bit of it because I did like some of the quotes in here. I'm gonna see if I can find one for you. Hold on. But yeah, there's something in here that kind of feels like cheating, but I don't know. Like more like emotional cheating, and I didn't really like that. But I did really like the main male character. So there's that. But yeah, I gave this book 3.5 stars. I'm trying to see if I can find the quote that I wanted to read to you guys. Oh, here we go. If If you've loved someone your whole life, oh my goodness, I can't even read a quote. If you've loved someone your whole life, it kind of makes sense that you'd love them forever. Just her quotes are so amazing, but I didn't love this book as much as Nora Goes Off Script. I still flew through it. They're such quick reads and her writing is so captivating, but I just didn't like some of the things that went on in this book and the characters kind of annoyed me a little bit. But yeah, 3.5 stars. It was a quick and easy read, and I'm so excited to read her new release that just came out. So, love her writing, love her books. 3.5 just wasn't my favorite. Next, I picked up Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. Let me just say, this book is like 600 pages, which I've been hearing a lot of people say, like, why are these books so long? I loved this book. Like, yes, it did drag on a little bit. I feel like it could have been cut 100 pages, but we got more of the characters. I feel like if you connect to these characters and you love these characters, you're going to want their book to be long. You're going to want to get as much, you know, as much stuff as you can from them. So if you don't connect to the characters and you don't like the characters, yeah, you could say this book is way too long. I really loved this book so much. Lauren Asher's writing is just, I keep saying this for everybody, but it's so easy. She's such a bingeable author. The one series that I don't really like from her is the Dirty Air series. I haven't read the last 2 books, but the first 2 books I did not like at all. And I did like her Dreamland Billionaires trilogy, except for the second book wasn't my favorite. But both Love Redesigned and Love Unwritten have been 4-star reads. I gave this book 4.25 stars just because the MMC kind of annoyed me a little bit. I feel like her MMCs are very grumpy, a lot of them are, but this one, just some of the things he said kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But the female main character has probably become one of my favorites ever. She's just, the things that she's gone through and getting to see her story was everything. I loved her so much. And Nico was the cutest. I think I've said this before, but I'm not the biggest fan of kids in books. They kind of annoy me sometimes, but Nico was the cutest and the most caring little guy ever. I loved him so much. He added so much to the story, and I really loved this book. It was really good. Did I like it as much as the first book? I forget what I rated Love Redesigned, but I think I liked that one just a little bit better, but I still really enjoyed this book. So 4.25 stars. We're almost done, guys. We got 3 more books to talk about. Next, I read Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I've seen this book get mixed reviews. Like, some people you either love it or you hate it, which I feel like is for any book. But I feel like a lot of people don't really like this because it's definitely Ali Hazelwood's most spicy book that she's come out with. But it's also on the front of the book. Like, there's literally a blurb in here that's telling you that. So if you're using that to say that's why you didn't like it, you're kind of, I'm trying to phrase this the right way. That's why I kind of like stopped talking. But there's a note on here that tells you that this book is spicy. So if that's like one of the reasons you're criticizing it, you went into it knowing that. So if you weren't into that kind of stuff, you didn't have to read it, if that makes any sense. But I really liked this book. I feel like it was not different from her other books. It still is like a STEM romance, but it was a refreshing read, if you know what I mean. Like, just vibes. Wasn't really anything too serious going on in this book. It was just fun, and I really liked that about this. I love Ali Hazelwood's writing. I think I've said this before. I would read her grocery list just because all of her books I just really enjoy. She cannot write a bad book. I'm convinced she can't do it. This book was spicy. It still had plot though, and I loved both of the characters. It was just a really fun time, and it reminded me of why I love reading, just to have fun. So I really loved this. I gave this a 4.5. It was so close to being a 5-star. It just didn't give me that 5-star feeling, which is why I gave it a 4.5. I just loved it though, and I caught myself like giggling and kicking my feet and smiling the whole time. So it was just fun. Like, that's one of the main words that I can use to describe this book, is just fun. I had the best time reading it. Also, I feel like I say this in every video. Sorry if my review of the book is just all over the place. I feel like I just say like what's in my mind about the book, and it could make sense to you, it could not make sense to you. I'm trying my best here. I'm not the best speaker, and then I'll say to myself while I'm editing the video, I'll be like, oh, I should have said this about the book, or I should have said that. So we're just here to talk about books, guys. The next book that I read is The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I've never read anything by this author before, and I've never really heard anybody talk about this book much or this author. But you are basically following Shay. I have to read stuff out of the book because I kind of forget most of the stuff that happened in this book. I listened to this on Spotify. But she is a producer at like on a radio show, and they end up doing this podcast or this radio show where her and I forget the guy's name, Dominic, where Shay and Dominic are exes. They pretend that they dated and that they broke up, and that they're doing a radio show on being exes and like how to get through being exes and just stuff like that. I didn't really love this book, you guys. I feel like there was no plot, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but I just found myself being really, really bored, and I did not like either of the characters, and I feel like that's really important that you should at least be liking one of them, and I did not like either one. They just annoyed me, and I feel like this book was macelidly. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. I feel like this book was mainly just a physical connection, and yeah, you could say like, oh, Kelly, that's the same thing as this one, but no, I still felt their connection in this one. This one, I feel like they had nothing in common, no connection whatsoever, and it was purely just physical. So, and I was bored basically the whole entire time. I should have DNF'd this, but I didn't, so I gave this book 2.5 stars. Didn't like it. Sorry, guys. Also, why haven't I heard anything about this book? Like, I feel like I haven't heard any person say that they've read this before, which is kind of odd. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't been looking. Alright, the last... Ooh, my book just fell. We're kind of at a weird angle with these books here. You can't see them, so I don't know why I'm bringing it up. Anyways, this video is all over the place, but what do you expect from my channel? I feel like that's with every single video that I make here. The last book that I read in June was Powerful. This is the novella that comes after Powerless, and you are following... Oh my gosh, why did my voice just do that? Oh my goodness, hold on. Alright, sorry for the brief pause. I just needed to take a second because I don't know why, but I can't speak. So, the last book that we read was Powerful by Lauren Roberts. This is the novella that comes after Powerless. You are following Adina and Mac. Adina is Peyton from the first book's best friend. So you're following her story, and this basically shows you what was going on with her while Peyton was doing the trials and stuff in the first book, which I really loved getting to see, because in Powerless I always said to myself, I wonder what she's doing. So I was very intrigued on her character, so I really loved that we got this little novella. Also, I've heard a lot of people complain about the sizing of this, like it's not going to match the Powerless hardcover. I actually don't mind it. Like, I think this book is so cute and little. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's cute. Anyways, this book was extremely sad. I bawled my eyes out. If you read Powerless, then you know how this ends, and getting towards the end of this, I was like, you know what if I just don't finish this and I just tuck it in on my shelf and we just pretend that this never happened, because I knew that I was going to be a sobbing mess, and I was. Let me put up a picture for you. I was so emotional with the end of this book. And it's funny because I forget, there was one book that I read, If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan, where you know what's going to happen at the beginning of the book, like it tells you. And I said in my wrap up of whatever month I read that book in, that I didn't feel it because I knew it was coming. Tell me why. It's the same thing with this one, and I bawled my eyes out. So I feel like if you connect to the characters, then you'll probably feel that, and I wasn't really connected to those characters, so that's probably why. But even knowing what was happening, like what was gonna happen, I still said to myself, Lauren Roberts, please change the ending. You know, where it's like Exile. I think I've seen this film before. And I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the ending. I was a mess. I was crying. It was so sad. And I'm just ready to read Reckless now because it came out a couple days ago and I picked it up and I'm so excited to get back into this universe again. I want to read you guys one of the quotes in here that made me sob. I caught myself like not highlighting, but underlining a lot of quotes in here because Lauren Roberts' quotes are just amazing to me. And I'm really excited for Reckless because I know there's going to be so many good quotes in that book. Oh, here we go. This is it. This is the one that made me cry. I did record for my Doing Bookish Things, me reading this book, so you'll see some reactions in that vlog coming out soon. You make even the stars envious because one day, far from now, you will be up there beside them, outshining every single one. Like, when I read that quote, I started tearing up because it was so beautiful. So, I gave this book 3.5 stars just because it's a novella. I feel like if it was a regular book, I could have seen myself giving this book 5 stars. I just really loved these characters, and it was just heartbreaking. And yeah, a great way to end off the reading month. So, these are all of the books that I read in the month of June. Let me know your favorite read or your least favorite read or just anticipated reads that you're excited for. Let me know anything about the books that you read down below because I would love to hear it. Also, another PSA, if some of these reviews and synopsis of the book didn't make sense, I apologize. Sometimes I'll read a book and I'll be like, did I even read that book? Like, do I even remember? Like, my brain is so all over the place. Like, I could remember everything about a book, and then in other books, I remember nothing. So, there's that. But I love you all so much, and I'll see you guys really soon in my next video. Bye, guys.